Now the Russian army has truly come to an end. Ours are launching a new, intense season of strikes. Madjar delivered this verdict to Putin right to his face.
We will successfully eliminate twice as much as Russia can manage to mobilize. In a few months, they will be overwhelmed.
The war is shifting into a mode of systematic attrition. The commander of the Unmanned Systems Forces is setting a new standard for strike drone crews. 10 confirmed enemy personnel casualties per month. The most interesting thing is that Ukraine is capable of launching this deadly machine. That's just one confirmed casualty every 2 or 3 days. From now on, the front line could turn into a continuous conveyor belt of losses for the occupiers. And here is what is most terrifying for the Kremlin. For 5 months in a row, Ukraine has been grinding down Russian manpower faster than Putin can send in new people into the meat grinder. Russia is finally entering a survival phase. Putin has ordered the submarines to be hidden and Russians are preparing for the worst. 7,000 kilometers deep, Web 2.0 is launching. Ukraine's Ministry of Defense has teased the enemy's air defense has been completely breached. The bunker dweller has to choose what to defend. Something shocking has happened. Russia is abandoning Crimea. The drones have succeeded. Siberia and the Far East are next in line. There is panic everywhere. The last chance to save themselves. Moscow will be silenced. Could it be that, to hide the strikes, the authorities will even be ready to take away Russians' phones? All this and more coming up. Watch until the end. This is Ukraine Today, Renata Aslanova, and the latest events. Complete chaos in the Russian Federation. Putin put the generals on alert and gave the order. Russians are hiding their submarines even 7,400 kilometers away from Ukraine. The fear of a repeat of the Ukrainian Special Operation Web is now greater than ever. The Ministry of Defense has announced shocking news.
Satellite images of the Rybachi naval base on the Kamchatka Peninsula show anti-drone nets on at least 2 nuclear submarines of the Bore and Bore A classes.
The occupiers really do have reasons to be nervous. As Serhiy Sternenko explains, Rybachi is the main base for the nuclear submarines of the Russian Pacific Fleet. So to speak, it is the heart of Putin's naval machine. It is from there that the submarines set out on long patrols in the Pacific Ocean.
Each submarine carries 16 RSM-56B Bulava intercontinental ballistic missiles. There are also carriers of cruise missiles based there.
Obviously, Putin's army has tucked its tail and is hastily trying to save at least the remnants of its naval greatness before hellish greetings from our side catch them off guard. It's useless to rely on air defense. Strangely enough, the Kremlin understands this perfectly well. In April alone, the Ukrainian armed forces destroyed almost twice as many Russian air defense systems and radars as they did 6 months ago. The systematic blinding of the Russian army is now happening live and without any so-called commercial breaks.
Due to the fact that drones can currently operate and fly up to 200 kilometers behind the front line, a substantial and dangerous risk zone has now emerged for the Russian forces.
The FPV-2 Horned Bulava has launched a real hunt for Russian air defense systems. Ukrainian drones literally sniff out the occupiers' positions, after which expensive systems are turned into piles of scrap metal. And this is only the beginning of a new tactic. Southern Ukraine, get ready! This region is becoming a major concern for the Russians. Our combat birds are now targeting the occupiers' logistics, which holds the front and supplies Crimea. And it seems the Kremlin is realizing, if these routes collapse, the consequences will be catastrophic.
At a certain point, as noted by Der Spiegel, Russia will have to make a very painful choice: to cover its troops at the front or to save its own territory. And it seems that this moment is rapidly approaching. Due to a shortage of air defense systems, Ukrainians have already carried out a series of successful strikes on Russian oil refineries and industrial facilities. In other words, while the Kremlin tries to plug holes at the front, the Russian rear itself is becoming increasingly vulnerable.
And what's most interesting is that this trend will continue. Putin, in turn, will have to make a very painful choice to cover his troops at the front or to save his own territory. And it seems that this moment is rapidly approaching, since Ukraine has no intention of stopping. There are practically no new systems to acquire. There is a global shortage of air defense systems, so each Ukrainian strike further exposes the Russian skies. Therefore, the Russians have only one option left: to prepare for the worst. It seems that's exactly what they're already doing. Siberia and the Far East are fortifying themselves as best they can. In Vladivostok, they are already planning to literally cover the oil depot with metal nets to somehow protect the storage tanks from strikes. On Sakhalin, energy companies are urgently purchasing protection for power plants, nets, anti-drone rifles, and UAV detection systems. The same thing is starting to happen in other regions of Russia, from Krasnoyarsk to Ulan-Ude and major airports. The Kremlin is also restricting media coverage so that no one can leak epic videos of the strikes. Consequently, Putin has banned publishing the aftermath of Ukrainian drone and missile strikes on Russian territory.
The ban applies to everyone: government bodies, the media, emergency services, organizations, and citizens. They are strictly forbidden from ever publishing information about significant events occurring within the city of Moscow, including recent drone attacks, actions carried out by sabotage groups, and any other incidents aimed at harming the lives and health of citizens, or causing destruction to critical infrastructure.
Moreover, those who violate the new rules will face fines. The harsh Russian reality in all its glory.
For citizens, the fine ranges from 3,000 to 5,000 rubles, for officials from 30,000 to 50,000 rubles, and for legal entities from 50,000 to 200,000 rubles.
However, this is hardly surprising. Moscow senses its impending end because the more holes appear in Russian air defense, the closer the war comes to targets that the Kremlin until recently considered untouchable. The sky over the front line is now completely closed to the occupiers. Ukraine has built an impenetrable wall of drones that literally incinerates Putin's meat assaults before they even get close. Just think about it. In only 1 month, the precise work of the Unmanned Systems Forces operators has sent more than 10,000 invaders to hell. How did the pilots of the 9th Separate Brigade set a real fiery trap for the Russians and forever bury their dreams of a breakthrough in the Kharkiv region? Watch the report to find out.
Behind these successful strikes on concentrations of enemy personnel, shelters, and equipment lies the painstaking coordinated work of every crew in the 9th Separate Brigade of the Unmanned Systems Forces.
You need to place the mast in a concealed location so that enemy reconnaissance can't identify its exact position. You need to thoroughly camouflage it as much as possible to hide it from the prying eyes of the enemy.
The top priority for Ukrainian UAV pilots is to remain undetected by enemy aerial reconnaissance. The drone bomber, like any other unmanned aerial vehicle, has become one of the most widely used types of weaponry for the armed forces of Ukraine.
These are our tools of the trade. It's better to save the personnel than the drone. That's the whole idea behind working with drones.
The heavy Ukrainian-made drone bomber Vampire has been widely used by the armed forces of Ukraine since 2023. Since then, it has been constantly updated to ensure the continued survivability of the system.
Of course it has changed. Now it's a fundamentally different drone. The design and concept have remained the same. It's continually and consistently being improved, with changes being made on a regular basis. Individual brigades also make their own adjustments, incorporating specific corrections to the workflow and to the equipment used with it.
At the same time as the technical characteristics of the drones improve, the gray zone, or so-called kill zone, is also expanding, the part of the front that is completely controlled by drone operators.
The distance at which the drones can operate is constantly increasing. Every single person in the industry is working on this so that the batteries can sustain power for much longer periods for greater flight range, and so that the connection works over significantly longer distances. Everyone is continuously and tirelessly working to position the crew as far away as possible in the most secure and safest zone that can be achieved.
The number of servicemen in unmanned systems units is actively increasing. After selection and training, anyone can become a pilot or technician depending on their abilities. The main thing is motivation.
What matters is that the person is ready, the person understands, the girl understands where she's going, she understands what we do, how we do it, and that above all, it is professionalism and work. Those who want to become professionals in their field, who want to work properly in normal conditions, those are the girls who stay with us and who come to us.
In March, the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, stated that 90% of the losses suffered by the Russian occupiers at the front are the result of the work of Ukrainian drone pilots. Oleksiy Baranovsky from the Kharkiv region for Freedom TV channel.
Fearsome Robert Madjar Brovdi is more than a commander. He redefines warfare. Madjar flipped the rules, making drones the main weapon on the front line. Where his fighters operate, there are no safe zones. His drone operators are the best in the world. Where Madjar's birds are, the enemy has no chance.
Good afternoon, everybody. Madjar on air. The weather is perfect. No one packed us up. There was no express mobilization or any other such measures. We have mastered the art of neutralizing the enemy with maximum efficiency and skill. Out of 10,000 detected enemy drones, 7,800 have been served up on a platter with video confirmation.
Robert Madjar Brovdi is no longer just a name, but a symbol of the new drone reality. His approach breaks traditional military patterns and sets a completely different pace for the war. He is not just a commander, he is the architect of Ukraine's drone revolution. Madjar's birds are a round-the-clock nightmare for the occupiers. Brovdi's unit has long gone beyond ordinary aerial reconnaissance. They operate along the entire front line. Behind them are thousands of battle directions, the status of an elite UAV unit, and the reputation of those who see everything and strike precisely. Rosneft PNZ won't let you lie. Madjar easily turns all of Putin's black gold into a fiery mess, while Russia's most sophisticated weaponry rots away in scrap metal dumps. Since January 2024, the birds became the first separate combat drone unit. In 2025, Brovdi himself receives the highest state award, Hero of Ukraine, while in Russia, people are willing to pay a lot for his head. And here's why. The Russian Federation loses $100 million every day as a result of strikes on its oil infrastructure.
The skilled operators of unmanned systems forces are persistently launching precision strikes at the oil infrastructure of the Russian Federation, leading to substantial and far-reaching losses in the processing, export, and logistics of petroleum products.
The attacks have disrupted the stability of oil transshipment at key ports, complicated supply logistics routes, and forced the redirection of flows, overloading alternative directions.
Step by step, the enemy's oil logistics system is gradually losing its core ability to ensure the flow of uninterrupted exports. The results of this work are already being felt on the front lines today. Fewer resources for the enemy means more opportunities for our units.
Frontline style without filters. Madjar's drone operators are actively targeting enemy positions, while he himself is promoting the strengthening of the UAV direction and a unified recruitment system. The unit states that, thanks to a strict security system, losses are kept at no more than 1%. Madjar is also known for his harsh rhetoric and dark humor, which greatly irritates Russian Z channels.
A massive carbohydrate wedding celebration in Chuap's 2.0. A comeback encore of sacred and destructive holy fire was delivered to a critically important oil facility on the night before April 20th by a freedom-loving Ukrainian long-range drone bird. The celebrations, marking the successful 3-day extinguishing of the results of the previous courtesy visit, have been cancelled by a spectacular and powerful remake of the strike. The wedding at the Tuapse terminal has been extended indefinitely, an after-party in the style of Groundhog Day.
Crucially, Madjar not only speaks eloquently, he drives innovation. In a world first, his drone operators downed a Shahed with an interceptor drone launched from a surface platform.
The specialized SBS group is now heading out to the open sea with sophisticated unmanned surface platforms, which are carrying advanced interceptor drones designed for Shaheds and various other aerial targets. During the first phase, on the 19th of April, pilots of the SBS ground fighter crews successfully identified and neutralized 4,465 enemy aerial targets, including 671 Shaheds and Garans. In order to intercept these Shaheds well in advance, a comprehensive program was officially launched to deploy fighters from unmanned surface carrier platforms operating directly from open waters.
The Magyar's birds are causing a stir, even deep in the rear of Russia. Even 1,500 kilometers from Ukraine, SBS drones have pecked at a Russian oil refinery.
Not just to nibble at the worm-ridden military-industrial complex, but to burn away even the illusion of safety in the rotten heads of the Sharakovs, regarding the depth of the enemy's rear down to its most remote pits. The governor of Bashkortostan can confirm, 1,500 kilometers deep into the swamps is no longer about defense.
From business to the front, the path comes with a reset. Before the war, Brovdi was a businessman with a scandalous reputation trailing behind him. Accusations, disputes, a toxic reputation. He doesn't deny this himself, calling that period the mistakes of his past. But after 2022, there was a sharp turn. Irpin evacuation, the front. He personally bought the first drones. That's how the Magyar Birds project was born, which grew into an effective combat system. And if someone doesn't like it or is far removed from real innovation, Magyar will easily put them in their place. Brovdi called out the director of Rheinmetall for his comments about housewives with 3D printers. He explained why the cloud-based UAV manufacturing system turned out to be more effective than traditional industrial gigantism.
You are right, Mr. Armin Papager. Even if it comes as a heartfelt outcry, the freedom-loving Ukrainian bird is not just an innovation, it's a revolution in warfare, a competition of firmware and frequencies. And yes, this is painful for industrialists, because what's happening is the democratization of precision weaponry with kitchen tables and sticks.
Zelensky supported Madjar and responded harshly to the CEO of Rheinmetall regarding Ukrainian drones. He noted that Ukrainians are unique in this context.
If every single housewife in Ukraine can really produce these drones, then every housewife can certainly be the chief executive officer of Rheinmetall. And I sincerely congratulate and commend our Ukrainian defense industrial complex on reaching this remarkable and unprecedented high level of technological production.
And the results of these technologies, Ukrainian drones, are demonstrated daily, both on the battlefield, on land, in the sky, and at sea. For example, recently, Ukraine's unmanned systems forces struck the Russian Black Sea Fleet frigate Admiral Makarov in the port of Novorossiysk.
It's not us hitting, it's Eva hitting. Missiles miss, drones hit the target. During the late hours on the night of April 6th, specialized SBS unmanned aerial vehicles struck the frigate Admiral Grigorovich in the port of Novorossiysk and successfully delivered a significant amount of blessed fire to the Sivash drilling platform.
Provdi also noted that the traditional reliance on scale and gigantism no longer guarantees an advantage, drawing parallels with the extinction of the dinosaurs, for whom it didn't help either. Instead, a new doctrine and a new type of warfare are taking shape. Ukraine is the first in this field.
Can you do it like this? Reach out if you need anything. We'll show you how.
What do you think about the latest events? We look forward to your comments. There's more to come.